Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Mimi Melly, the creator of CreateKingdomPlans. And today we are outside and we are going to do a really great video for beginners. We're going to learn how to make a weekly layout in our Keynote app and a cover. As I said before, this is for my beginners. So anybody who watched my last video on how to make your own planner, I know it was difficult, I know it was fast, but we're going to take it slow today, okay? We're going to do this thing. We can do this. Who's with me? Okay, so let's get started. First things first, we got to plan out how we want our weekly layout to look. So what I like to do is go into my Procreate app. You can literally just do this by hand, but since I'm already on my iPad, I'm going to go into Procreate and just use a portrait layout. Of course, you can always do a landscape, but today we're doing portrait. And I'm just going to think about some ways that I want to plan out my week. If I want to do it vertical boxes, horizontal boxes, if I want to start on a Monday or a Sunday. It's good to plan this out first so that you don't get frustrated while you're in Keynote and just throw your iPad out the window. We don't want that. No. Because that iPad costs a lot of money, girl. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, anyway. So this is the first option that I created. Let's do the second one. I'm doing a new layer. And of course, you could just use a new piece of paper. But here's another layout that I came up with just these little boxes going down the left side of the page. And you can just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I actually love starting on Monday and then leaving my Saturday and Sunday weekend by itself. That's how I like to do things. I don't know about you guys, but that's me. And I just have a to-do section, a focus section, maybe a little section for notes, and then a blank space. And here we are with option number 3. What I love about all these options are that they're super easy to make and very straightforward. Extremely straightforward. All right, which one do you think I picked? Put it in the comments below before I do the reveal. You guessed it, I picked option numero uno. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, let's get to it. So now that we planned out our layout, we are going to create that layout. Our second step is to set up. Go to Create Presentation, click on Choose Theme, and click on Basic White. This is what I always use to start out my planners and layouts. Click on the 3 dots at the top, go all the way down to Document Setup, and we're going to change our slide size. Click on Custom, and you can change it to whatever size you want. I'm going to show you what I usually use. So I usually use 700 by 900, and that's really what I like for a portrait size planner or layout. So that's what we're going to use today. So yeah, let's start. What you want to do is go back to your presentation and click on Edit Slide Layout, and you'll see all these templates that they already have here. All you need is the blank one, so delete all the others. I'm actually going to go ahead and leave the title page and just erase everything on it. So quick tip, hold down your Apple Pencil and drag downwards, then select delete. That'll help you to delete everything on your page or just to select all if you want to move something. Okay, so now go back to the presentation section by clicking done, and at the bottom left, click on Add Slide and click Cover. Both the cover and the blank page look exactly the same, so we got to change that. Make sure that the cover is supposed to be the first page. Click on the little paintbrush and make sure that you're selecting cover for that page, and the second one, go to that paintbrush again, oopsie, and make sure that the blank is selected. Now we have 2 different pages. This is very important and you'll see why later on. Step number 3, creating our layout. Make sure you click on the second page, and we're going to just slide back and forth from our plan to make sure that we are capturing every single detail as we drew it earlier. Apple makes it super easy to slide back and forth from each app. Just slide across on the bar at the bottom. All right. Go back to your presentation and click on the plus sign, and we are going to add a shape. I'm going to do the rounded square. Use the little green button to control how sharp you want the edges or how round you want it to be, just by holding and sliding back and forth. I'm placing my square where I want it to go and changing the fill and the border. If you want to add shadow, feel free. You can change the width of the lines, change everything you want in the style section. I want my layout to be as plain as possible so I can add the most stickers. So I'm just using a thin outline or a thin border for my squares, and I'm just going to now copy and paste them over and over again until I get 5 for the weekdays. I made my boxes a bit too big so I can only fit 4 across. What I'm going to do is select all the boxes, click on group, then shrink it. Then I'm going to tap the shape again, click on ungroup. Now copy one of the squares and paste it to the side. Sorry for my shaky camera, guys. I think there was wind or something. Who knows? Anyway, so I'm going to select all the boxes again and make sure that it's centered to my page. Okay, now I'm going to copy another one of the boxes to do the Saturday and Sunday horizontal box. So just like what we drew, I'm gonna go ahead and make it longer and add those to the bottom. I'm gonna leave a little space so when I'm writing Saturday and Sunday, I have that space to do so. And I'm just gonna copy it and paste it so that there's 2 even rectangles. So here I'm just making sure that everything is even and centered using my guides. You can also use the align tool. So I'm just going to select 2 of the objects, go to the paintbrush, go to arrange, go all the way down until you see align. So these are different options. I'm going to use align to the right. So that makes sure that they are in a straight line as well. So that's another way that you can align and make sure things are straight, other than using your guides. Okay, so now let's add some text. You literally just click on add and click on text, and you can go ahead and put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is the easiest way. I suggest you do this if you are a beginner. This is the option that you should use. Go ahead and click on the text and add it in. However, I decided to do it the hard way because I like doing things the hard way apparently. So you're gonna watch me doing a table to do all the days. But like I said, for a beginner, definitely use the text. It's the easiest way, and especially if you have your guides on, it'll center it right to the top of the box. Okay, so for those of you who would like to do the hard way, just like I did, this is really good to help you learn how to do your own tables. So I just created a table here that is 1 column and 5 rows, and they're going across the first 5 boxes. Then we're going to create a second table, which is going to go across the 2 horizontal boxes for Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so for the first one, we are going to learn a couple of things. So first things first, we're going to make our table lines appear invisible. Make sure your table is selected. Click on the paintbrush, go to cell, and then go down to cell border. So we want to make the line type none. So click on this. This is going to make sure that all the lines are selected. Go to line type and click none. Now nothing is going to show up. However, we still have that table, which is going to separate the days of the week. Now, don't mind how I spelled Tuesday. Just ignore it. I'll fix it later. Now, one thing I love about the table is that I can change all the text all at once. Just click on that column, go to cell and click on the font, and you can change the font to whatever you want, and everything in that column is changed. And I'm going to just make it smaller to make sure I see the entire word of that weekday. Now, I'm also going to have to make a little bit of an arrangement because I didn't use text to center it. And I didn't account for this little spaces in the middle of each box. So I might have to change it a little bit, which is why I said this is the hard way. If you had used text, you wouldn't have to worry about that little space in the middle. It would have aligned it to that box. Here I am correcting Tuesday. Alrighty, so it looks pretty good. So I'm going to put a little bit of space in between the weekdays and the weekends to make space for the Saturday and Sunday title. And I'm going to copy the table and just put it on top of that to make sure it fits correctly. And we're going to remove 3 of the days and just put Saturday and Sunday. And now I'm going to decrease to 2. And now we have only Saturday and Sunday. So I'm just going to replace Monday and put Saturday, and replace Tuesday and put Sunday. So now is the hassle of making sure that the word is centered to the box. So even though I am dragging across, it still isn't centered. So click on the letter of that row. You'll see a few lines that pop up at the side. Use those to drag only that little row, and it'll help you to size it correctly to the horizontal box. Okay, we are halfway there. Oh my gosh, I am excited. It looks so cute. Let's go back, and we have to do our notes, to-do section, and then a blank section. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? I'm gonna go ahead and use the same square that we had already because it had all our settings there. I was gonna use this, but I think this is so much simpler because we have all our settings already there and everything's going to be the same. So we're going to use this as the bottom section, which is going to be where you can put stickers and, you know, be creative. And then of course, I'm going back to the tables. I'm going to show you guys how to do a really simple, like graph paper type of look. So instead of just having a square, I want it to look like graph paper. And this is super simple to do with the tables. So I'm just going to put it in here and just add a whole bunch of rows and a whole bunch of columns until they look square. And that's basically it. See how fast that was? Look, we got graph paper. Now, if you're writing your notes, you have a nice little set of graph paper to make sure everything is lined up, looking neat. And you can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. Those squares can be sized any way that you like. If you want it to be more rectangular, you can do that too. And you can change the color of them. There's so much that you can do. So be creative. Okay, our graph is looking good. I'm going to paste another one. I'm not really liking having 2 because I have a to-do section. So I'm actually just going to leave one of them for the notes, and I'm going to make a brand new section for the to-do. So for the to-do section, we're actually just going to make circles and lines so that we can check them off. I love checking off things or bubbling in things. So I'm actually not going to use 2 of the graphs, as you'll see. So I went ahead and copied the table for the titles, and now I'm just going to put notes and to-do, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the second graph and show you how I do my to-do list. So for the to-do list, go and click the plus sign at the top, click on the shapes, and go to circle. We're going to make a circle, a very small, and we're going to change the style of this circle. Okay, so click on circle, click on the paintbrush, go to style. We're going to change the fill to no fill. Super sorry that the background keeps changing. I had to go run to my baby because he was crying. Okay, so back to the circle. So I'm gonna just make sure the size is right. If it's a little too big, a little too small, I think this is pretty good. Now we're going back to the tables. I think I'm just like addicted to tables. I think it's fair to say that I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. So yes, I'm just going to remove the rows and just have one singular row and a bunch of columns. And I'm just going to size it just right so that the circles sit right next to that line. And as I showed you guys before in the tables, you can remove certain lines like the borders. You can add lines to make them, you know, visible. You can change the colors. So I'm just going to add the circles, and the guides are helping me to separate them evenly. You can also use the align tool, as I said before. But yes, the guides do help you to make sure that they're lined up evenly. Let me show you one more time how to arrange them. You go to arrange and go to align. At the bottom, you can also do a vertically. That'll make sure everything is separated evenly and you're good to go. Okay, it's professional. Okay, so now that we have our table, we are going to make sure that we don't have that border. So remove the cell border. Click on the cell border and make sure that you remove those lines. Now, I noticed that the lower border, we need it. So instead of that, we're going to do the side line. We're going to remove the right and the left side lines of the graph. And then we're going to remove the top line of the border. I keep saying graph, the table. And it is a little bit tedious, but when you do it this way, it's so much easier if you want to add something, if you want to remove something, and it looks more professional as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and group the to-do list together. Use the Select Objects tool that is brand new to Keynote, and select each circle and the little graph and group them. Click on Done, click on Group. Now you have a group that you can move around anywhere you want. You can make it big, you can make it small, and it's all together, so it's not like 10 million pieces all over the place. Okay, the last step for our layout is to export. This is really helpful to me because I can see if there's mistakes, if things aren't right. I can fix them in Keynote before I, decide to sell my layout, give it to somebody else, or just use it in general. So first thing to remember, our cover page is empty. I totally forgot and I was like, where is my layout? We don't have the cover page yet. Remember, we have 2 pages, the cover to do and our layout. So make sure you swipe to the side when you export it to see your layout. Okay, so this is the cover page. I'm just going to delete it for now because I don't need that. We don't have anything there. Let's focus on our layout. It looks good. However, something's missing. Where are the circles? Where are the circles, girl? Troubleshooting. Literally, this took me like 20 minutes to figure out. Okay, not really, like 5 minutes. I exported it again, it happened again, and it wasn't until I clicked on the circle and I realized I had no border. So it was just an invisible circle sitting there on my page. This is why it's always good to test it out first before you give it to somebody, before you sell it. Make sure you test it out yourself. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and click on all of the circles and go to style. And as you can see, border is unclicked. Fill has nothing. So it is an invisible circle. Yeah, so I'm going to make sure that I add a border so that I can actually see something when I export it. So here we go. It should work now. Let's export it and see. And let's see. Here are our circles, guys. Phew, I got a little bit anxious there. Just a little bit. Okay, so I deleted all the bad ones. This is our final product of our weekly page, our weekly layout. It looks good. We're zooming in. The boxes are looking good. Things are centered. We have our graph. We have our to-do list. We have our blank space. I'm loving it. Oh, but actually, that blank box is not centered, so we're going to have to fix that. And I'm also going to do our last step, which is our cover. So first I'm just going to center this box, and now let's work on our cover. Okay, so now we're going to click on that first slide, the first page, and we're going to add a shape. We're going to add a square, a regular square, and we're going to either add a color. You can add a color if you'd like, or you can add an image. So here I have my square, I'm sizing it up, and I'm gonna click on fill, click on color, and I'm just gonna pick a random color. I love pink, so I'm just gonna choose one of the pinks at the bottom. And you could leave it like this. You can make the opacity lighter, you can play around with the color, you can make a gradient, you can do whatever you want. It is your cover girl. Ooh, like I did that, cover girl. I know, I'm so annoying. Okay, moving on. We're going to drag the square all the way to the edge of the left side, the top, and the bottom. And I'm going to leave the right side with a little bit of space because me personally, I like to feel like I'm opening a real book. So I'm going to add pages at the back of it. I'm just using a rounded square, but you don't have to. You can use a regular square. All you got to do is make a square, well, not a square, a rectangle, and make it white, add shadow, and place it behind the cover page. So what I'm going to do is click on arrange and slide that slider to make sure that it's behind the cover page. And then I'm going to continue to do that over and over again so that it looks like there's pages to this book, okay? Our planner is going to look beautiful. We have to make it look realistic. You know what I mean? So once you created your white rectangle with the shadow, click on it, click copy, click paste, and we're going to do it again and again and again, about 3 to 4 times. You can do it twice, you can do it 3 times, whatever you like. Of course, I am just going to do it a couple of times to make my planner or my weekly cover page look more realistic. Okay, so here's where I get a little bit tedious with the work. As I said, I'm doing about 3-4 times over, and I'm using the little blue dot to make sure that the lines are even. But it is a little bit hard with the guides on, so I'm going to turn them off, and this will be very helpful to you, not only to use guides for just this page, but throughout your projects. So definitely you can turn your guides on and off. This will be super helpful. All you got to do is click on the 3 dots at the top, go all the way down to guide, and turn it all off. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. We don't need none of that. We want to get down to the last decimal of how we want these lines to go. So yeah, I learned this. A lot of you have actually told me to do this in my comments, and it's super helpful. So I hope it helps you guys out too. All right, enough of that. I really get into it and I'm extremely tedious. You don't have to be. I just had to stop it right there. So the next step is to create a little border so it looks like a book. Or how the binding, that's the word, the binding, that's what we are making. So I'm using a square and I'm just going to make the opacity a little bit lighter. Everything you can change the style, as you know. Click on the paintbrush, click on style, and you can change the shadow, you can change the fill. And this is what I usually do. I use black and I just put the opacity really low. I add a shadow, and now it kind of looks like the binding of the book, right? Now the next step is you can add an image to really help this to pop. So I'm just gonna add an image right on top of it. I'm just gonna use something that I already have in my photo library. Okay, so I found this really nice gold, pinky, pale, neutral colored image in my photos. Probably something I got from Pinterest, who knows. And I'm going to expand it and make it cover the cover. I'm gonna go ahead and change the opacity to really make it look as if everything is cohesive, and I'm loving it. So now we have our cover and we have our weekly layout. Let's export. Oh my gosh, the cover, it's a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece, and that was like the simplest cover ever. Everything looks so good, you guys. The cover looks good, the layout looks good, and guess what's even better about it? You did that. Yes, you. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I make new videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.